Hello, our project is on Will Ferrell's free throw in the movie Semi Pro. Using the information we've obtained and various trials, we're trying to find out whether or not his shot is realistic or unrealistic.
Okay, so the first thing we found after watching this clip was the horizontal distance and the vertical distance. Since the free throw line and the height of the hoop are like standard measurements, so we just like looked those numbers up on the internet and found the free throw line to be about 4.5 meters and the height of the hoop to be about 3 meters. And then Maria, Sophia, and I each used like a stopwatch on our phone to like time how long this free throw took. And we timed it like 5 times and we averaged all of them up and got about 1.69 seconds. And then the initial height was then determined by using proportions because we really can't find any other ways. So like we basically took Preston's height and Will's height and Preston's knee height, and we like wrote a proportionality equation to find the initial height, and that was about 0.5 meters. And lastly, we used like kinematic equations and trigonometry to find the horizontal, vertical, and the initial velocities.
So in total, we ran 3 trials to determine whether the clip is realistic or not. So in our first trial, we held everything constant except for the time. When we ran our trial, the time did not add up with the original as 1.69 seconds. Instead, we got 1.26 seconds. As a result of the time changing, our horizontal and vertical components of the velocity changed, and as a result, our initial velocity as a whole changed as well. So these changes prove that the clip is unrealistic. In order for the clip to become realistic, the actor can throw the ball with a greater force, which can increase the velocity. And as a result of the velocity increasing, the time is going to decrease as velocity and time are inversely proportional.
For the second trial, we're strictly trying to find out whether or not Will Ferrell's angle of his throw is realistic or not. So to do this, we kept everything constant and we deduced that the angle was 65 degrees. And so because of this new angle change, the vertical component of the initial velocity would change as well as the overall initial velocity from 10.151 meters per second to 6.401 meters per second. And since this is quite significant, it would further prove that his free throw is unrealistic. To fix this, he would need to shoot at a lower angle closer to 65 degrees.
So in our third trial, we focused on the initial height of the ball. So we kept everything else constant, and by doing so, we arrived at a height of approximately 2 meters. As a result, it does not affect the horizontal component of velocity since those two are independent, but it does affect the vertical component of velocity and the initial velocity as a whole. Although these changes aren't as significant as the angle, it is enough to say that this scenario is unrealistic. So in order to make it more realistic, the height from which the ball was released can be increased.
So in conclusion, as you can see, like in the table, we kept like different things constant each trial, and because of like these significant changes in numbers, it is highly like improbable and unrealistic that a projectile can replicate the path of this free throw in the same amount of time, initial height, and angle.